In this episode, we are having conversations with Mr. Kishore Asrani, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Airtel Enterprise Services South. Kishore, thank you for coming onto the show.
Pleasure.
Let me start off with asking you, can you define your role and also give us a little insight into the enterprise services of Airtel?
So, as you know, Airtel is the leading brand in offering telecom services across the country. We started in India, now we operate our services in 22, 23 countries. Airtel Business, we are now called Airtel Business, we migrated from enterprise services.
I see.
Essentially, we focus on B2B piece of the telecom arena, where we offer services to all enterprise customers, which helps them not only communicate among themselves, but also create their, do their business transactions, create collaborative environment, and give solutions, which effectively enhance their efficiency.
Got it.
To give an example, a large distribution company has multi-location presence in the country or across the globe. They need connectivity for the offices. They have created ERP applications and their workflow is created on that ERP application, and they need to do their day-to-day business on that. Today, as the business is expanding, they need a time to market which is the shortest possible.
Right.
They should be able to capture what is happening in the business, in the field environment, and take strategic decisions around it as quickly as possible. So one of the large challenges they have, how do you assimilate all that information back to the headquarters? The think tank of the company can process that information and then give strategic direction. How do you change your strategy? Maybe it's against a competitor, maybe it's against a disruptive new technology which is coming or a new product which is coming. So our solutions are focused around looking at each business processes these large corporates run and help them, collate that big data back to their headquarters so that they can analyze it faster.
Correct.
Think about a salesperson who's doing sales in the field, but that information is reaching to headquarters 7 days later. Traditional ways and means of doing it.
Right.
But today, you can carry a tablet which is connected to your corporate network environment. You can do your sales calls in the day and just report the information, whether it could be a booking, it could be information, it could be competitor related information, or a product related information, or order placement itself, what could be done on the remote device.
Right.
All these devices are enabled on corporate networking environment by a company like this. That's what Airtel Business largely does.
Correct. So Kishore, you're the Chief Operating Officer, and I know there are some people who have this thing of, so what is the defining role for a COO, and how does it differentiate from a CEO?
So it's not very different from the literal meaning of operating officer. So I'm responsible for the operations in the given territory. So my territory is southern part of India. So all the 4 states of southern part of India, my responsibility is to go after the business opportunities and run the business smoothly. That's in nutshell is the responsibility. But apart from operations, running the business profitably, running the P&L for Airtel Business for South, that's the key role.
Correct.
Of course, I'm assisted by various functions, the team members. It's a pretty large team of roughly about 250 people, which are directly employed by Airtel. And there's a huge partner ecosystem which works with us, which enables the various businesses which we do at the grassroots level. So ensuring that customer expects the expected level, the customer receives the expected level of service, the SLAs are delivered, the service levels are predefined and checked at the time of delivery, that are in line with the contracts. We do customized solutions for government, for corporates. Those customized solutions are process of co-creating with the customer. At times they have never been done ever before. We're trying to automate a business process traditionally which was done out of Excel sheets and out of manual processes. So we work with them, apply ourselves to the business situation, feel that pain which customer is feeling, and then bring together various products and services which could be part of Bharti portfolio or part of partner ecosystem portfolio, and co-create a solution which is needed by the customer. End result is he's investing something, he's getting something out of it. Is there a ROI? is actually achieving the efficiency out of it. And then possibly once we've done that, take that back to the processing team, product team, and replicate it with various other customers. So, here you don't need to recreate it, it's already created, just replicate it.
What specific skill set is required of a COO for somebody who's aspiring to be in that position?
I think, the way I see it, say, it's a common sense business. If you can understand your customer, if you can apply yourself to the customer needs, I don't think you need a specific qualification to achieve it. If you have ability to analyze, break the larger piece of work into smaller pieces which can be processed faster, just put them into the right sequence and achieve the end result. So the way I call it myself is, it's a common sense business.
Okay.
Those are the skill sets you need.
Who are your inspirations in life, and what specific qualities have you imbibed from them?
You see, maybe a couple of lines from my past. I come from a family where, it was mandatory for one to start working as early as possible, okay, because the survival was difficult. So I started pretty early in life into a job, whatever I got, right? So there was no plan around the job. But more I came into the professional world, and you started seeing, various people who had really made it big in life. So, you start building your own dream. And I'm talking about when I was 19 and a half years of age, right? That was the time when a kid starts building its dream, right?
Right.
So the same thing happened with me as well. And my role models were more from the people I was working with, or the leaders in the organization where I was working. And I started with a pharma company. I saw somebody who was leading the organization. He actually started as a sales rep, and over a period of a 30-year career, he was the CEO of that same company. My immediate boss was in the similar league. I can mention his name. His name was Mr. Anil Bhasin. And the amount of rigor and the passion which one saw in them was a huge source of inspiration as well as learning. So, because I started working early and I was into thick of things right from there, I think I never got a time to look beyond what was, the immediate goal in life, to achieve something, to make it successful, not necessarily make it big, but make it successful whatever you're doing. I think those kind of mindsets helped me, during the course of my career. And hence I would, in last 9 years I've been working with Bharti Airtel. It's a huge source of inspiration. When I see Mr. Mittal and the way he started, absolutely, it's a unique example of somebody who starts with practically nothing but has a huge vision, and makes it such big within short period of say 20 years or less, right?
Right.
He is example which one would truly want to emulate and make it big in life.
Kishore, most successful people actually make mistakes, but they also learn quickly from it.
Absolutely.
And become better people. So what has been some of your challenges or failures in life, and what did you learn from that?
So the challenges were that, when you were trying to get into a dream job or something, there's something called pre-qualifications, right? If you don't have the qualification, you don't get selected for it. So I came from that bracket. I was a science graduate, got into sales job, into pharmaceuticals, into then consumer durables, and technology and telecom was something which we wanted to go into. But the fact that you're not an engineer or a technically qualified person, typically, somebody who's selecting the CVs will reject it, right? So I think those kind of challenges I did face. But if you're determined, you find a way. You get into those roles which are based on your strengths than qualifications. So I got into this company where they were looking for somebody to sell IT services through a channel model. It is way back in 90, and channel models were not that established in IT services companies. And I came from product selling channel background. So channel was my strength that time, and this company wanted to take that risk with me, and I had to restart my career all over again from the grassroots level, And I took that challenge, and maybe within a couple of years I could, while I was delivering as part of my KRAs or KPIs, but I could also, go through various training programs and learn the technology side of the services which we were providing to our customers. I think my own inquisitiveness and the effort in that direction helped, and the mixture of two, helped me grow further. And I would say, after about 7, 8, 9 years of my career, I restarted it in the technology world, and last 15, 17 odd years have been great.
Awesome. That's great. How do you make your time more productive? Any tips you want to give?
I think it's very easy for a large setup where people, if you don't plan well in advance, you can get lost in transactions. So I can tell you about, say, let's take an example of a salesperson in telecom world. He would come into office, will be thrown with so many transactions, which could be sales related, solution related, support related, that his entire day plan can go for a toss. And in the evening, when you're finishing your day, you'll be exhausted. You will think you've done a lot of work, maybe, but when you do productivity analysis of your day's work, chances are that productivity has not even, there's no productivity been achieved. So when I work with my team, my advice to them always is, always stick to your plan which you've created. It could be a weekly plan, which, if you want to meet 15 customers during the week, stick to that plan, don't dilute it. Yes, there'll be transactions will be thrown to you. There are various teams within the organization which are working on those problem areas. Delegate them, have a review on a fixed interval basis. Don't dilute your own focus of the objective which you've created for yourself. Another thing which I work with my team and tell them is that your customers' expectations from you is always higher than the company's expectations from you, right? Because they're looking at you as a solution consultant than a salesperson.
Right.
Make sure that you learn that business of the customer. At times you're working with one vertical, which say manufacturing, so you should know what is manufacturing all about. Otherwise, it's difficult for you to understand customers' needs, and you'll end up spending a lot of time understanding directly or indirectly through other solution team members. You'll lose a lot of time, which could be otherwise converted into productive discussion if you already understand the business of the customer. It becomes very easy for you to apply yourself in that situation. If I go to a healthcare company and I don't understand the meaning of healthcare, what piece of healthcare that organization is into, and what could be the possible field challenges they're facing, chances are, as a telecom solution expert, I can never give a solution. Right? Or I will depend on solution experts completely to come their availability. So that means my time is not going to be very, very productive.
Right.
So make sure that you learn that business you are in, or the customer's business, and then apply yourself. I think that's a very, very key piece, and it makes you really productive.
Kishore, a lot of students watch these podcasts. So what would be your advice or life tips that you want to give them?
In today's environment where we have made it so competitive, right? I see a lot of kids trying to get into a particular stream and making a lot of efforts about it. Some of them get it, some of them don't get it, and they feel dejected that they are not able to start their journey into the right path. My own example tells me, and I've seen so many around me, it does not matter whether you're getting the right stream, the way you thought you should get. What matters is a long-term plan where you want to be. What matters is the right start of the journey, in terms of basics, right? Maybe, at the time of specialization, the choices are even wider that time. That time you can course correct yourself and come back to your preferred area. Once you do that, I think beyond that, starting from scratch and then making it big is the real mantra of success. There's no shortcut here. One can think that, okay, I will do 1 year of this role, another year of this company, third year of another exposure, and fourth year I'll be ready to launch my own company, or I'll become a CEO. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. It might be happening with very few percentage of people, but I know for sure, in my experience of 23, 24 years, you know, toiling it in the market, making sure, you know, you learn, you specialize, you master that particular piece before, you know, the actual success will come to you. So I don't think there is a, you know, something called shortcut in
Got it.
life. You know, you have to make it count in the field by delivering it time and again, consistently, before you reach to that stage where you can call yourself successful.
Kishore, thank you so much for your time. It's been
Pleasure.
such a pleasure talking with you.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.